I'm starting to like Mark Zuckerberg. His unorthodox haircut is something that might take some getting used to for me still. But I like that he now has perhaps seen enough of the leftism out there and the desire for censorship, which comes from the left, the desire for domination of information and speech and dissemination of all of that, which comes from the left, that now he's like, wow, these people are crazy. We got to figure out a way to allow for the exchange of ideas in what is a massively powerful platform, Facebook. So he's been better. I think that what he's doing, for example, on political ads is better than what Jack Dorsey's doing over at Twitter, which is, we're going to let people pay for political ads. Like, we're not going to do what the left wants here and try to rely on the built-in advantages that the left tends to have in these platforms to make it organic, because it's never really organic. It's never really what it's just supposed to be. There's algorithms and there's upgrading and downgrading and all these things. But some of you probably are familiar with Aaron Sorkin. Aaron Sorkin has made quite a name for himself as a screenwriter. He actually wrote The Social Network, the movie The Social Network, which was not particularly favorable to Mark Zuckerberg, by the way. But it is a very entertaining movie for what it is. Justin Timberlake, husband of Jessica Biel, did do a pretty good job in it, much to my chagrin. Anyway. But Aaron Sorkin in the New York Times has written an open letter to Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook isn't defending free speech. It's assaulting the truth. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Mr. Sorkin, who, you know him, by the way, for making his name in Hollywood for writing very snappy, witty dialogue between people. No one really talks like the way that the characters in Aaron Sorkin shows or movies talk. I mean, no one, it's a weird, I mean, I guess some people find it entertaining, but it's very forced, I think. Here's what he writes in this editorial, though, where he's telling Mark Zuckerberg that it is assaulting truth instead of defending free speech. Quote, this is Aaron Sorkin. Most people don't have the resources to employ a battalion of fact-checkers. Nonetheless, while testifying before a congressional committee 2 weeks ago, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez asked you the following. Do you see a potential problem here with a complete lack of fact-checking on political advertisements? Then, when she pushed you further, asking you if Facebook would or would not take down lies, you answered, Congresswoman, in most cases in a democracy, I believe people should be able to see for themselves what politicians they may or may not vote for are saying and judge their character for themselves. Now, you tell me, if I'd known you felt that way, I'd have had the Winklevoss twins invent Facebook. Ooh, burn. The Winklevoss twins inventing Facebook. Oh, no. That's because, the Winklevoss twins are supposed to be the preppy elite, always get their way. And by the way, they're worth a ton of money now, not just from Facebook, but from cryptocurrency. They crushed it in being early in the cryptocurrency world. So those guys are, I don't know. They want to start a conservative. Hey, Winklevoss twins, you want to start a conservative media outlet? I know a guy. We could do some things. This guy's got cash to burn. But here's how Mark Zuckerberg responded. And like I said, I kind of like Zuck Unleashed here. Zuck and Buck that'd be fun. Be a fun guy to interview, actually. America isn't easy. America is advanced citizenship. You got to want it bad because it's going to put up a fight. It's going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours. You want to claim this land as the land of the free? Then the symbol of your country can't be a flag, just a flag. The symbol also has to be one of its citizens exercising his right to burn that flag in protest. Show me that, defend that, celebrate that in your classrooms. Then you can stand up and sing about the land of the free. That's what Mark Zuckerberg posted on Facebook. You know where it comes from? It was written by Aaron Sorkin in the movie The American President. Yeah. So clearly that was meant to be a soaring moment of oratory in the film written by Aaron Sorkin. And so to that, I would just want to ask, hold on a moment. What changed between that movie, which I think came out in probably 1998 or something? It was quite a bit old now. And today. That seems also true. In fact, these principles about I don't have to like your speech, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. You know, this is what old school liberals used to say. This was the standard way that they would approach these topics. You know, it became cliche. That phrase, I forget what the exact one is, but you have these old school liberals who believed in the freedom to burn flags and burn bras, and the freedom to say really bad stuff, and the freedom to march and to be, racist, and they used. Now you have in the pages of the most revered liberal outlets and the news outlets in the country, people on the editorial boards of the New York Times and Washington Post advocating for hate speech laws, criminalizing it. Now liberals will say that a couple of stupid and I believe drunk white kids walking across a campus, and I can't remember if they're drunk or not, doesn't matter, and yelling the N-word isn't just stupid and something that should be condemned, but should be criminal. You go to prison for that, for saying a word. And then I can go into a gym, as I did yesterday, to try to work out a little bit and hear people blasting over the PA system songs with lots of people saying the N-word. So some people can say it's fine. Other people go to prison for it. And liberals today will say, yeah, that's the way it should be. Really? I thought freedom of speech was something we all agreed on. Here's the troubling reality. It's not just Aaron Sorkin. There are others, too. Freedom of speech, when it really matters, is not something the left believes in anymore. They believe in power. They believe that they know what is right. The government should be empowered to do what they think is right. And anyone who stands in the way of that is bad. Not just wrong, but bad. And all decision-making, all policy disputes are taken through or are pulled through that filter first. This is troubling. This is not the way it's supposed to be. And this is not the way liberals were even going back a few, maybe 5 or 10 years. It's been getting worse. Progressively with college campuses, they had the speech codes, and they've been trying to silence people. But liberals now want censorship, and they want censorship help from the most powerful platforms of information exchange in the history of the world. And you have to remember that, too. This isn't just, one abusive cleric in one town of, Renaissance era Italy or something saying, no, we're going to burn these books. Okay, that's bad, but that's one town. This now would be information dominance and control of the dissemination of information on a global scale. Much more powerful, much more far-reaching. And what's at stake here is the perception of millions, hundreds of millions of people on any number of issues. And the left will not give this up. They want it the way they want it. They will not adhere to the principle here. They do not believe that people should have their say on this. There's only one say, what they say. That's it. Mark Zuckerberg gets credit here, man. That was a fantastic response to Aaron Sorkin calling him out. Now, Aaron Sorkin's a sanctimonious lib. This is no surprise. Mark Zuckerberg, I would think, is a Democrat, but he seems to at least be a Democrat who, having built a very large company and having seen what the left of his own party believes about how that company should be run now, understands that the so-called liberals, and I hate that term for them, but they've used it specifically as a way of throwing us off the truth. They're not liberals. They are statists. They are progressives. They are leftists. They're socialists. But they are a threat to liberty. And that's not a talking point. That's not exaggeration. What liberties do we really have if we don't have the liberty to say things that liberals don't like? So-called liberals. How can we be considered a free people if we're not free to say things that are offensive? This was central. This was taught in schools. This was one of the few areas where left and right could really come together and agree. They could coincide. They could have a worthwhile discussion about this. And at the end of the day, they tended to be at least willing to adhere to the basic principle of free speech. It's gone now. It's just a question of how long it'll be on life support before liberals can completely eliminate it. They don't even aspire to share the basic tenets of free speech with us. They've openly embraced censoring things they don't like. They've openly embraced control of the government so that they can shut down things that they say are offensive. Mark Zuckerberg, credit where it's due. Not only just for slapping down Aaron Sorkin, who's just really insufferable. Just go watch a little bit of The West Wing. Oh, it's so cute. Both sides presented. But like the left is always a little smarter, a little better, a little more moral, a little more courageous. The Democrats are always the good guys, really. The conservatives are basically all being paid off by big oil or something. Or they just need some really clever lib to explain to them why, drilling in Anwar is a terrible idea. I remember that one. And that show. I tried to watch some of it, but I've seen a few episodes, and it's just a fantasy land for liberals where they win every argument. And Jon Stewart basically took that format with The Daily Show. Let's have a comedy show where we talk about the issues of the day and just make fun of the other side and present straw man arguments, and our side always wins. People love this stuff. They love it. They loved it during the Bush administration to pretend that there was really an alternative presidency on TV. That's what it was. With Martin Sheen in the role of Jeb Bartlett, I think was his name or something? The brilliant all-American professor from New Hampshire who's a Democrat. Yeah, I wonder if Jeb Bartlett thinks that there are two genders. It'd be a fun question to ask on that show, but the show's gone now. Well, it's happening, my friends. President Trump is moving to Florida. That's right. It has been established now that the President of the United States is officially changing his personal residence. Obviously, he technically lives in D.C., but he now will be a resident of the great state of Florida. Reasons for this are pretty clear, right? Florida, no state income tax. Florida is a place that has better weather than New York, I'll just admit it, and better politics than New York. At least there's some real red parts of Florida. There's some real conservatism, some Republican politics that matter in Florida. Unfortunately, here in D.C., in New York, also true in D.C. where I used to live. Here in New York, that is not the case. There is, in fact, no real Republican Party in New York City that really does very much or does much of anything. So I just wanted to share this with you. I was looking for this. So you got the President of the United States saying that he's leaving the place that the state that he's called his primary home for his entire adult life. He's from here. Everyone always forgets that. 80% of New York City voted for Hillary Clinton in the last election. I think so many people forget that somehow Hillary Clinton, a total transplant in New York, a fraud in that regard, well, in a lot of regards, she's more embraced by New York than a guy who's a native-born New Yorker who's lived here his whole life and been really a part of the city his whole life. Just goes to show you the power of Democrat narrative in politics. But in response to this, you had Mayor Bill de Blasio tweet out, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out," or whatever. Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, good riddance. It's not like real Donald Trump paid taxes here anyway. He's all yours, Florida. The First Lady of New York City, Charlene McRae, the wife of Mayor Bill de Blasio, just wrote, "Boy, bye," in reference to Donald Trump leaving. And Mayor Bill de Blasio also wrote, our deepest condolences to the good people of Florida as Trump attempts to outrun his past and near future. So here you have the politicians for the city of New York and for the state of New York who are celebrating the loss of probably the most, well, I think you could say now, no question, the most famous New Yorker alive. And because of the tax situation, and also I'm sure at some level because of the insane politics of this city, which increasingly people don't realize, Wall Street is liberal. Everybody needs to get this through their heads. Most people on Wall Street, most of these hedge fund billionaires, these people, they like Hillary. They donate to Democrats. Wall Street is liberal. It's not some bastion of right-wing stuff. Yeah, they want lower taxes maybe. That's it. They want to keep more of their money. On everything else, trust me, they're socially liberal. They're probably all about climate change. This is just, the rest of the country, because you hear Elizabeth Warren, when she talks about, we're going to have a tax on Wall Street. And people say, oh, yeah, those right-wingers on, but there's no right-wing Wall Street. There are people who are on Wall Street, but overwhelmingly. Goldman Sachs, liberal place, left-wing, donates to Dems. You go down the line, these big these mega banks, financial institutions, they're all about supporting Democrats, all about supporting the left. So you just look at the donations. Somehow rich people gets conflated with Republicans all the time, and it's total nonsense. This is where I have to think, man, I don't know. It'd be kind of nice to move down to Florida. You got better weather. I have to think of where I'd go. Miami comes to mind for me because I'm a single guy, and that would be kind of fun. But Palm Beach, I hear, is very, very nice. West Palm Beach, I hear, is very nice. Other places in Florida that are, more up and coming or a little less bougie, perhaps. Where would you, if you had to move? Tampa has some great places. Naples has some great stuff. If you had to move to Florida tomorrow, producer Mark, where would it be?
I'd like the West Palm area.
West Palm,
yeah,
right?
I have some family down there.
Really nice, yeah.
I used to live in Coral Springs, Florida, actually. For middle and high school, I lived there, yeah.
How was it?
I mean, as a kid, it's a lot different just because I couldn't drive. A lot of old people, stuff like that. So as a kid, I would say it was bad. But now that there's no state income tax in Florida, I'd go in a second.
Yeah, I probably need to spend time in the Panhandle, right?
Yeah.
Jacksonville and places like that
Sure.
that are up in the red part of Florida.
Just don't go to Key West. They get obliterated by hurricanes all the time.
Oh, I've been down there a couple times. Don't move there, you're saying.
Yeah, don't move there.
Yeah,
Well,
nice
you can
place
go to
visit.
Key West.
It's a nice place to visit. That's where the party at.
Anytime you want to move the Freedom Hut down there.
Yeah, if we want to move the Freedom Hut to Florida, you're good?
I'm good.
All right. Yeah. Something to think about, man. No state income tax.
That's all that matters to me.
New York City, I think it's like, what is it, 12 or 13%?
Something ridiculous.
It's outrageous. For what? This stuff you have to deal with here in the city sometimes. I know a lot of you saying, Buck, come out to wherever. Probably get a great place. And man, I don't even want to know how far my money would go in a wonderful city like Omaha. It'd be great. Have a great time there.
Team Buck, it's time for roll call.
Man, I can't believe another week of fantastic shows done here in the Freedom Hut. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you're enjoying also watching us on the First, which is on Pluto TV. And you can watch it channel 248. If you're listening on the radio or the podcast, you can watch a video, a live stream of the radio show. Please do check it out. And thank you so much for that. Also want to say today, in case she is listening, happy birthday to my mom, Mrs. Sexton. She is the only Mrs. Sexton running around right now because some of the kids are taking, the boys are not married yet. So, Mom, happy birthday. You're the best mom in the world. Thank you so much for all your support. Love you. And you don't look a day over 35. All right. Let's get to what we have going on here in the roll call inbox. Wayne. Hey, Buck. I started listening to your show recently from Denver. I've gotten tired of Hannity, etc., because they all seem to allow the leftists to control the game by going into defense mode for Trump, even though he's done nothing. It reminds me of the years I've spent in Ukraine, listening to and reading Ukrainian, American, and Russian media. Putin would commit crimes and incursions against Ukraine, then immediately accuse Kiev, it's actually, they say Kyiv, I believe, over there, of the crime or justify the crime as a protection of Russian families in Ukraine. Ukraine would go right into defense mode and try to explain what really happened, sometimes making themselves seem like a guilty party, falling all over themselves in reactive response. Putin owned them every time, running the game as a propaganda master. Kiev, Brussels, Washington would all scramble when Putin went to lunch in Sochi with his 25-year-old mistress. My question, when will we stop reacting to Kremlin-esque strategy and start controlling the game? I'm tired of hearing all the pundits squawking about what the Dems are doing. The Dems are playing everyone for idiots and winning the PR game. Thanks, Buck. Wayne. Well, if you're asking me when, Wayne, I think the answer is it may never happen. Democrats excel at propaganda. Democrats have control of the media. They have control of the academy. They have control of most of the social media platforms that really move the conversation right now. How do we go on offense? We just keep fighting. Just keep fighting. This battle is never done. There's no victory. There's only just, the day-to-day. Who's winning right now? The score changes all the time. And the stakes are the future of this country and in some ways the future of the world. So it matters. It certainly matters. Michael, let's see here. Indeed, the Trump legacy may very well become his unprecedented effect of outing double agent statists, swampers, and leftists from their cozy little fiefdoms. If only enough voters would recognize them at primary time instead of being played by the state committees. Don't really like mandatory term limits, but I'm all in for the current agenda of convention of states. Thanks for all the great radio work, Mike in Pennsylvania. Well, Mike, thank you so much for writing in. And yes, Trump has definitely had this side effect of exposing people, in some cases people who have been supposedly conservatives for a very long time. That's been interesting to see that happen. And yes, I would have to agree with you that there are a lot of benefits of Trumpism that I could not have even expected from the beginning. I think he's done quite a good job with them. Let's see. Hey, Buck. It's from Maureen and producer Mark, you man of mystery, about that whole polyamory thing. Oh, no, we already read this one. This was about the, Buck wants to talk about polyamory and poly something or other. Another one, what's this? What was the other one? We learned this other one, though. Polyandry. That's one woman with more than one husband.
Yeah, I just want to point out you were reading the email where we learned it.
Yeah.
So you could have just looked down.
Yeah, no, I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did.
It
took me a second.
All right.
But polyandry was the new one that I learned about. That one sounds the worst.
Well, you learn something new every day.
I'm going to have a wife, and I'm going to be sharing her with multiple dudes. This is the worst.
Now, do you have to be intimate with the other dudes?
I don't know.
That's an interesting question.
That is another.
If Maureen can write in and tell us, that'd be interesting.
That is another part of it, right? Or is it just like a harem, except it's a dude, it's a man harem. You know what I mean?
Like you take turns?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Look, the people are pushing this lifestyle these days of poly whatever. And I'm just trying to learn. Oh, we got somebody else who wrote in on this. Jacob writes, Buck, I'm a millennial, 6 months older than you. OS Team Buck, Las Vegas here. I'm listening to Friday's show as I write this. I've seen a show on polyamory already. About 12 years ago, the Learning Channel ran a documentary series that followed a couple of polyamorous relationships. There was a married couple who shared a girlfriend and a woman who had two live-in boyfriends. I watched it once out of curiosity and couldn't make myself watch it again. I thought you'd want to know you're right without knowing it. Keep it up. P.S. The Lepanto Show is the coolest 2 hours in the history of digital media. And long live Commie Bear. Man, Jacob, thank you so much. Yeah, we didn't talk about Lepanto Day, October 7th this year. But you can still find it on the internet. We should just drop that into the feed. It'd be fun. Get everyone to listen to... Next year, we'll just drop the Lepanto Show as an extra into the feed. I mean, why not? That'd be fun. We could definitely do that. I miss it. The Lepanto Show was good times. Chuck rhymes with Buck. So if Trump is impeached by the super secret impeachment, will he even know he is impeached? I realize that we should expect a trial or something, but the way the Dems are doing things, why should that happen? Everyone agrees that impeachment would be destructive to our democracy, so wouldn't, for the sake of the country, it be better to keep the whole process secret? This is no more ridiculous than many other claims they have made recently. That leads back to the question, would Trump even know he was impeached? What might that look like? What do you think, Buck? I'm not really sure what we're being asked. I'm not really sure whether, if Trump is impeached, will he even know he is impeached? Yes. I think he would know if he's impeached. So, and then, right?
I think he's asking if the Dems are even going to do a trial with Trump there, like they did with, I believe they did that with Clinton, right?
Yeah.
If they're even going to do a trial, they'll just impeach him without him even there. I think that's what he's getting at.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the answer is I don't know. So we'll have to see what they end up doing. I got to go back. I was too young to remember much of the Clinton impeachment stuff. So I should go and check some of that stuff out. This is where being a graybeard millennial is not fantastic, because you don't have the institutional knowledge of being an adult who is politically involved at that point in time. All right. My name is Hunter, and I am 12. I really enjoy your show. I listen to it every day after school. You've really helped me enjoy politics. I've been listening for about a year now. I heard my dad listen to it, and I thought it was cool. Well, Hunter, I think you're cool. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Really appreciate it. Give your dad a big high five and a hug from all of us here in the Freedom Hut. And it's great to have somebody 12 years old, man, listen to the show every day. That's really, really cool. I am humbled and very appreciative. So thank you so much, Hunter. Stay with it. You'll never turn into a crazy lib like the rest of them. Dan. Hey, Buck. I am original Saturday Squad from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Was having dinner with my wife the other night and found this gluten-free beer. Had a pint and felt it had to be a serviceable alternative. If you're ever in the Green Bay area, let me know. I'll buy you one. Dan, thank you so much. I have never been up to Green Bay, but if I get up there, I will certainly reach out, and I appreciate very much hearing from you, my man. And gluten-free beer is okay. If you're going to go that route, somebody who has celiac disease, I've had to think about this stuff. Cider, producer Mark, is what you, because cider is naturally gluten-free.
Yeah, I was just going to say, why don't you just drink cider?
Yeah, the cider, it can be fantastic. I actually have some tart cider in my fridge. That's really excellent.
There's actually a place out on Long Island in Riverhead called the Riverhead Cider House.
Really?
They make their own ciders. They're delicious.
Yeah. No, cider's like candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
It's very sugary.
I was going to say, you don't know how much sugar's in it. That's the problem. You're basically drinking like Mott's apple juice with a little bit of booze thrown into it.
Basically.
Yeah. It's still good, though.
It's delicious.
Delicious. It's delicious. Gina, here we go. Watching you on The Blaze about 4 to 5 years ago while living in Texas was the start of my political awakening. I've not stopped searching since that time, thanks to you. I've also called you twice while I lived in Charlotte. So happy to finally see you on TV again. Gina, thank you so much for watching me on TV again. Thank you for being a part of what we do here in the Freedom Hut. All right, now we get into the Facebook portion of this. An homage, in a sense, to Mark Zuckerberg, who we had to give a high five to today for slapping down sanctimonious Aaron Sorkin on the show. All right, let us get to it, my friends. Let's see, where are we here? We're doing the Facebook. Okay, yes. Pardon me. We have Alex, who writes, "Hey, Buck, I work for a congressman, and he recently quoted Buck during a floor speech in Congress. He'd like to send Buck a copy of the speech. Is there a mailing address that I could send this to? I'm very happy to verify everything, so you know this isn't some sort of scam." Sure. I got quoted by a member of Congress on the floor. Look at that.
Yeah, we can DM him personally.
Yeah, we'll send him the stuff. Sure.
Maybe the congressman can come in.
Yeah, the congressman can call in, too. Be like, Buck, I love your quote, or whatever it was. Buck is very quotable. Charlie. Hey, Buck. Charlie from Penn State. My question is, how do you go to a wedding without a date? That's sad. Haha, jokes aside, I'm a big fan. Shields high. Well, sorry that some of us have had to go to weddings without a date sometimes. You know, it's a thing that can happen. You'll never have to worry about this again because you will be married very soon.
Yeah. The only weddings I've gone to, at least as an adult, I'm not talking about as a kid, I've had a date.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a family wedding, though, in your situation, it's not that big of a deal. But, like, my wedding, for example, you're not going to go without a date. You only know me.
Exactly.
You're not going to see me
Yeah,
very
correct.
much.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have it, or else you're just like a stranger wandering around and not know anybody.
Exactly.
It's not fun at all.
Yeah.
No, I know. Well, also, Wedding Crashers is propaganda. Damn it, that's not how it works. You don't go to a wedding and you don't know anybody. 'Cause remember, they're crashing weddings. They don't know. You don't go to a wedding. You don't know anybody, and there's nothing but beautiful bridesmaids who are like, I just like really need someone to give me some love and attention now. Like that's not how it happens. The bridesmaids are all being shuttled by Bridezilla back and forth for photos and got to be in place at the time and the whole thing. You're not like dancing around with a bunch of Sports Illustrated swimsuit models who are like, I just feel the need for some love because I'm not getting married and she is. That's not how it works. That's what it looks like at Wedding Crashers.
The anger in your voice makes me think that you don't understand the concept of a movie, Buck.
No, because I saw Wedding Crashers and I thought to myself, this is the way it's supposed to be.
But it's not a documentary.
Yeah, but no one thinks it's a documentary.
Obviously, you did.
It just made me sad. Could you start a fraternity like in old school? Yes, you could. I mean, would it be that much fun? Probably not. I think it was false promises. That's all I'm trying to say. Bram writes, you keep saying you don't have a college team to cheer for. You're more than welcome to cheer for the Oklahoma Sooners. Thank you so much, man. I will, when I find, what is a Sooner?
I don't know, but I know it's the nickname for the team in Oklahoma.
I figured that out too. Thanks, Sherlock. But I'm just saying, I don't know what a Sooner is, but I'll figure that out. I'll go for it. Here we go. Jeremy writes, Buck, if you're over the age of 25 and don't have or work with kids, you should be banned from wearing Halloween costumes. Also, even as a graduate of a Big Ten school and with an above-average basketball program, I agree with you that school should be for school. If people are so bent on college athletes getting paid, maybe they can be compensated for how far they go in their respective college tournament. Something crazy like rewarding excellence, since that's how the real world works. Shields high, Jeremy. Yeah, I mean, people get very emotionally attached to college athletics, and so when I tell them that, I'm not saying we shouldn't have college sports or college competition. I'm just saying we shouldn't do this thing. We shouldn't do this thing where we pretend that people that are coming to these schools are students when they're really just athletic mercenaries who are brought in to do that sport, and some of them can barely read, can barely do the most basic of classes in college. And it also, the whole focus of these schools on, is our team winning? The focus should be on, like, what's the average SAT of the incoming class, and what jobs are people getting when they graduate, and how much are they earning? And, like, that should really be the school pride. I hate that. School pride should be about how good is this school at preparing people to be successful and excellent adults. Not, our team went 9-2 last year. Yay. Who cares? And I know I can hear the boos. Who cares? I'm not saying don't watch and enjoy. I'm talking about when you're a student in the school, they win, they lose, fine. School pride is fine, but I know it's like I'm a communist now. Everyone hates this.
Why can't you do both, Buck? Why can't you be invested in the college sports teams and be a good student?
I'm not saying you can't be a good student and be invested in college sports. That would be crazy. I'm saying the focus of the school and administrators is too heavily on their athletic programs at some of these big major schools, and it's just not what school's supposed to be.
I mean, say, like, let's take Ohio State, for example.
I knew we were going to go there.
They're a good school, too.
Yeah, it's a good school, too, but...
Most of the top programs are also good schools.
I don't know. I just think why can't they just have, like, people show up and do tryouts? Why do they have to have all this recruiting and all this nonsense? Who cares?
Because they need to make money.
See?
I mean,
It's
there is a point to a lot of it.
All about the
But I'm
Benjamins
saying
at the end
that's
of
the
the
big
day.
schools. It's not all the schools.
And what I'm really talking about is, like, why does Princeton recruit for the squash team? Who the hell cares? It makes no sense.
Princeton and other Ivy League schools don't allow scholarships.
Yeah, but they still recruit. They still bring
They
people
do,
in that would
but
not
they-
get in otherwise.
Top tier, not necessarily.
It depends on the sport. Look at you with the sports knowledge over here. Actually know some stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
My background is in sports, Buck.
I remember this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I went to Amherst and we had guys who were on the football team who could like barely put a sentence together, and I was always like, "What for?" It's a D3 school. They stink. Who cares? But that was my experience. What do I know except about everything? Please tell people this weekend, first of all, write in to tell producer Mark that he's wrong and Buck is right. That's always important so that he knows that. TeamBuck@iHeartMedia.com, Facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Please tell somebody about the show this weekend. I hope you're enjoying the Pluto stream. Channel 248, the first on Pluto TV. And, oh, yeah, that's right. Shields high.